transient is why. What does one offer over the other? I'm going to put you over that, Carlos. I'm going to ask you to have you answer that question. But before I do, I'm going to share what Daniel Hunter said on our ORVO page. She says, "I am a third-generation RVer. My grandparents took my father out west as a kid," and I'm going to try to read my own writing, and to Expo 67. Wow, that's a long time ago. In a canvas tent trailer. They later upgraded to Winnebago Ithaca. I still have a scar from helping Grandma make up the jackknife sofa bed. I have been to every province, even Labrador, except for the Yukon Northwest and Nunavut, via camping. Thanks to my parents, as well as 10 states. I am so happy to share this with my spouse as well. We like transient because of the places that we can go. So you kind of hinted to why you went to seasonal. Why did you choose seasonal over transient? And then again, I would also ask you the piggyback question is, you're now thinking of doing some transient. Why? Yes.
The transient question first?
Do them both. Yeah, one at a time.
I think seasonal for us, I think we wanted, anyway, the campground that we're in a very family-friendly campground. You know, my daughter has a chance to network with kids her own age, so she's 9, and we're in a very family campground. She has events that she could go to. I have, unfortunately, a mobility challenge, so for me, you know, being able to go to a spot every weekend, again, without having to hitch and unhitch and that sort of thing. I also, the campground hosts are also very helpful with things like wood deliveries and just little things like putting my pontoon in the water, getting it out of the water. You know, those are the kind of concierge things that are a big plus for a seasonal campground. You know, for people who are there, you know, hosts do a really good job. I can see us sprinkling in some transient camping. We want to experience new things. We may explore rather than buying, like renting and doing transient camping that way, maybe through RV Easy or something like that, and just booking a few sites, you know, throughout the year, and just to sprinkle different opportunities in terms of different campgrounds. So ideally, it would be good to do both, really.
It is. It really is. Now, you and I were talking a little bit before with your mobility issues and RV lifestyle. That can be a challenge. And we're putting out a newsletter in the next couple of months through ORVO. We're going to be exploring a bunch of different things. We're going to be sharing recipes and tech support. And I think one of the things we should also be looking at is accessibility in campsites. And I think you'd be a great person for us to get some ideas from that on that one there, Carlos.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? If you have a mobility challenge, the fact is that we're an aging population, right? So we need to be accommodated.
Yeah.
And it's not people with disabilities. It's accessibility is for everyone, really.
It is. It really, yeah. As we all get older, knees start getting hurting and backs start.
Unfortunately, that's life, right?
Now, Ellen, we'll go back to you and we'll get to you, Nikki, after the same question.
Yeah.
You kind of do both. We kind of answer that question, but why did you choose seasonal? Let me go that way. Why did you choose transient?
Actually, I want to bring up something that is very cool. Carlos, I don't know if you know, but Carlos is the first paraplegic para-athlete who has swum Lake Ontario.
Awesome. Yeah.
Back in what year?
1993.
So if you look it up in the news, you'll see Vicky Keith, who also swam Lake Ontario, and the two of them in a picture. And I just think this is absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You're like my hero.
Thank you.
So why did I choose transient?
Yeah, why did you choose transient?
Okay. Well, we have a sense of adventure. We absolutely love our campground. Our friends are there. We get along so well, but our fifth wheel is really packed in there with the deck and the gazebo, and I could not even imagine trying to get it out if we tried. So, although we don't have the vehicle to do so, we really have that sense of adventure. So that's why we bought that C-Class. We renovated it. I'm a designer also, so I really love to redo things from scratch and just beautify things. So
By the way, we posted some of that stuff on ORVO, so if you go back and date it, you can see some of the work that Ellen, she directed me, I did some of the work, how we renovated that C-Class.
yeah, we have actually the hybrid and the C-Class on there. For the
Right, yeah, that's
renovation.
right, the hybrid too.
Yeah. So I mean, we did the harvest hosting last year with it, but we do have that sense of adventure. We're kind of a little bit nomadic, I would say. That's why we chose. I think from as soon as we can get to that point, we're going to sell our seasonal, we're going to sell our citation, we're going to put them together into a really nice C-Class that does both, and park it at the campground and pull out at the same time when we want to. That way, we're only paying for one insurance, and we can still see our friends, and we can still travel.
I think, yeah, just picking back on that was the seasonal aspect. That's one of the things I really liked about the seasonal aspect is that the friendships that we develop. You're going to meet them all the time, so to leave that site and go transient only would be really, really hard because we got some really good friends.
Yeah, actually, when Scott and I were discussing that, we're just so close with everybody.
Yeah.
It became like we regret this if we move,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to get a little teary-eyed because if
I
we
don't
left
see them
them,
here,
we'll
so
see
it's
them
good.
again. So we thought we spoke to our campground owners. They were actually at our booth yesterday. They came up to the show, and we told them what our plan was, and they were okay with that. They're going to find us a site that we can pull in and out if we will just sell our C-Glass on site, or our fifth wheel on site.
Thank you very much, Ellen. Nikki, we're going to ask you the same question, and after you're finished, if anyone had any questions about transient or seasonal camping, if you're thinking of doing it, if you please ask, just raise your hand. And even if those of you who are sitting out there or looking at some trailers, I don't need the microphone. I can go all the way to the very end, and I can yell, and you can hear me. But yeah, if you have any questions, please we'll ask those afterward. Go ahead, Nikki.
We started Transient because we didn't know anything about it. Figured that was the way to go. My hubby had the toys and wanted to have toys we'll carry. So we bought the toy hauler. First season realized we want more living space. After you're done with the outdoors, after the bonfire's out, you don't necessarily want to go to bed. So we traded in that toy hauler for a full-fledged fifth wheel. And we like being able to travel. So one of the deciding factors going seasonal is we had to find a seasonal campground that allowed you to pull out. So we are able to pull out midweek, so we don't disrupt anybody, so we're still able to have the benefits of both, really. We love the campground, so why not stay there? But we had planned that we were going to do and chase the Northern Lights this year. So we're going to pull out, and we're taking time, and we'll do
Good.
2 weeks up north.
Great panel, though, to be able to talk about transient and seasonal camping because they like to do both. So, does anyone have any questions that we want to go to first? Are you ever thinking of how many here have an RV? Nobody out there eating lunch have an RV? Or they don't want to participate? That's okay. And okay, are you transient or seasonal?
Well, we actually just bought our first RV last year.
Oh, excellent!
Yeah, so
Excellent!
We're new RVers. So my question is actually, we're looking at taking it's only a 22 foot, or 19 foot, so it's not too bad. We're looking at towing it to the East Coast this year.
Oh,
So
wow.
somebody that has a massive, 30, what did you say,
42.
42 foot? I can't even imagine. 45. 80 feet. What are some of the things you'd recommend? Just pitfalls for driving long distances, towing, and we only have a Honda Pilot too, so we don't have a half ton or anything to pull it with. So, any advice for long road trips?
Ironically,
Thank you. Great question. Great question.
Ironically, that is a question that came up a lot on ORVO. So I do have it under featured posts. If you go back and look, we have
I'm not a member yet.
Oh,
You're gonna be.
okay.
Oh, did you?
You've got to join. You got to join.
Yeah. Especially if you're going out east.
Yeah, I just posted a question for a friend who's too nervous to post for herself about going to the East Coast. My daughter lives there. She goes to school, so I'm very familiar. And I did that drive in August, taking her to school this year for the first time. I think the question is going to be, do you want to go through Canada or do you want to go through the States?
Probably Canada.
Probably Canada, he said.
All right. We were going to take the state route and go up through Maine, simply because of our size.
Yeah.
Okay? Going your size absolutely you can go through. There's some beautiful places through Quebec that you can stay at, beautiful campsites. You can boondock in a lot of areas. A lot of great suggestions. In the recent post that I just put, I think 3 days ago, there was one of our members who actually screenshotted and posted his full itinerary.
Yeah.
The route he took, the parks he stayed at, how long it took them, all of it. So right now, going down to the East Coast, your trailer actually is the perfect size for it.
Glad to
There's
hear it.
no way we could have done it in hours, because my daughter lived right downtown Halifax.
Oh yeah.
So seeing those roads when I got there, because when she first went to school, we were going to drive out, bring the furniture, all of the stuff that I've been saving for, pots, pans, all that stuff. Finally, I was like, we'll buy it when we get there. Once we were there, I'm thinking, thank God, because there's no way we could have navigated those streets.
Yeah.
So you're able to go through, and I mean, even if you're in a campground, Nova Scotia, Peggy's Cove is my playground.
Okay.
I can spend a day there
Yeah.
just climbing the rocks. It is magnificent.
I
So-
have an aunt that lives. Sorry.
No, that's good.
Thanks. We have an aunt, also have family members that live out there. An aunt lives in Halifax too, so we'll probably have to navigate some of those city streets. So it is handy to have a bit of a smaller trailer. And she's recommended, if you've never been to Kejimkujik campground, which is like, which is they do basically dark, no light. There's no white light. It's all the red light. So it's specifically for stargazing.
Oh, wow.
It's about
Nice.
an hour or so outside of Halifax. So we're gonna check that out as well. Yeah.
Haven't been there. The only one
Thank you.
we were
You're welcome.
looking at, that I actually visited when I was there was King Neptune.
Okay.
Fantastic owners. So the benefit of even being, if you're down there, your aunt lives there, you don't necessarily have to navigate the roads with your trailer. Leave your trailer at the camp park and go visit.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Right.
Anyone else have any ideas about taking a long trip and anything else you want to add?
Actually, you mentioned the name of that campground. When you join ORVO, we would love to hear all about that.
Absolutely.
Please do post your experiences.
A lot of ORVO, that's one of the benefits of being on ORVO, is a lot of members will do that, and we can share and learn from their experience and then use their campgrounds. Yeah, excellent.
We actually have a member. She travels. It's Yukon, right?
Yukon, yes.
It's Yukon every year. Her name
Yeah.
is Star, and she documents her journey. You see what she does every day, what she eats, how she travels, what weather she runs into, and it's a teardrop trailer that she and her husband go up in. And then a couple of years ago, when she was up there, do you remember that? I can't remember exactly the situation, but there was a murder, and they were looking for the two guys up in, was it Alberta? I think.
Up there that way.
Anyways, she was right there when that happened.
She actually saw
just-
the guy walking
Yeah,
out.
she saw them.
It wasn't his news yet, but yeah.
Yeah.
Carlos, you want to say something, I think?
Yeah, we were at Piggy's Cove. We were touring the East Coast. Yeah, if you plan on going, regardless, I would recommend leaving it at a campground. But there is space for RVs, but regardless, it's very busy.
Yeah.
If you plan to go really early or go really late, and plus, if you want to take pictures, there's people there constantly. So if you want a nice clean shot with no one in the photo, go in early or late.
Now, kind of piggyback on that, we had some other questions from ORVO. One of them would be, you have any gas type tips that we maybe possibly have a tip on saving gas?
Ignore it.
Ignore it. Right? No, good. No, I appreciate. Yep.
Ignore it.
Yep.
You're RVing, you're wanting to go. Unfortunately, with the times, yes, there are a lot of people that it's affecting. At the end of the day, these are memories that are priceless.
Put it in the budget and expect to pay for the gas. Yeah.
You're also saving money on a hotel.
Yep.
Yes, you are paying for a campsite. Yes, you are paying for gas, but you're also saving money on a hotel. So sometimes it does even it out.
And the experience of traveling in your RV over hotels is, for me anyways, priceless. Yeah.
It's your space. You don't have to unpack every time,
Yeah.
and you're not sharing it with 3,000 other people.
I would add, I'll go into a different topic, and that is maintenance. Go over your vehicle, make sure it's checked over, get brakes checked out, do all that stuff before you head out. Make sure the vehicle and everything is solid. Yeah. So, any other questions before I have a whole bunch of other questions? If someone has another question, please don't feel hesitant. Amelia. Oh, I see it. I see this hand. That's a creature coming out of me.
Why did you name it ORVO?
why did we name it ORVO?
Well, that's a good question. We want to be primarily Ontario. We have Ontario-based campers, so Ontario RV recreational vehicle owners. So it's people who own RVs in Ontario.
Yeah. We were actually named Ontario RV Owners of Private
Yeah.
Campgrounds originally, but then so many people who weren't at private campgrounds said, well, what about us? So we dropped that part, and then we thought, why don't we just shorten it to ORVO? And then I remember specifically Carlos saying, ORVO, what is an ORVO? And then it just caught on.
I actually
Everybody
thought
loves ORVO.
I thought it was the name of a cookie.
Oreo. We actually had someone come by the booth
Yeah.
yes, on Thursday and said, oh, I thought it said Oreo.
And he was looking for the cookie.
All right, let me go. I'm gonna pop over into a seasonal question from my list here from people from ORVO. What would you suggest? I'm out there. I'm looking for a seasonal site. What would you suggest? Where did you start looking for a seasonal site? I know where you started, Carlos. But go ahead, answer it again.
Where do you think I started?
You were trained. Oh, no, I can't remember.
Oh, so anyway, we
I confused you with Carla for some reason. Sorry, both of you.
well, we actually looked through the Camping in Ontario brochure at the time. And anyway, we had a specific criteria that we were looking at. I mean, we had experience, my wife and I had experiences with cottaging, so we wanted something with a lake view. So we did a search for campgrounds that had the feature that we wanted, which was a lake view and access to a lake. And then sure enough, with that list, we had my wife and I came up with two lists where she wanted to see the campgrounds and where I wanted to go, and we narrowed it down that way and started doing a drive, in just before the camping season started. And you have to actually go there and see what it's like if you want to be seasonal. Like versus, you would go to a show like this to get the brochure, but it doesn't tell the whole story.
No.
You have to actually physically go up there, ask for a tour, preferably talk to other seasonal campers. If you don't have that, ask that question in ORVO, what they would recommend.
Yeah.
And really word of mouth is really the best way, because you get that answer without the marketing spiel.
Yeah. So I think the one thing you did mention that you had a specific criteria you're looking for.
Yes.
And then you did a search looking for that criteria.
Yes.
And I think that's really important also, that you know what you want.
Yeah. I would recommend you decide what you want first.
Yeah.
If you want to go seasonal, what are the things that are most important to you, and also with your partner or spouse or your children, if you have any. Come up with a list as to what is the most important for you, and go from there, because it's not just me, it's my family. It's what's also important to them.
Yeah. Because of the vast array of different seasonals. There's some with, Ellen, I'm going to put this over to you. The different there's all kind of seasonal campgrounds. Can you kind of give this is off the top of my head, so I'm kind of stuttering. Like I'm thinking shirts and shores. There's different. So answer that question as the different kinds of seasonals, what you can expect in those sites.
All right, well, I've been at a few seasonals, and they've all had different amenities. And that's one thing you definitely need to look for, is what amenities you're looking for. The campground we're at right now is on a lake. And I say lake very loosely because Google calls it a lake, so it is a lake. But it is a pond.
It's named.
Yeah, but you can swim in it. So we always call it the lake house. But anyways, when you're looking for different campgrounds, when I first started out as a single mom, I was going to go in on a trailer with my friend. We thought, okay, we'll renovate it. And then I went to a campground out in Peterborough, and I was not comfortable. The people were coming out to look at me, and I felt like I was on display, and I thought, I cannot stay here. So it just gave me eerie
They
vibes.
do that when you're transient too.
Do they? Oh my
You go to a
goodness.
campground, they want to watch you park your trailers.
Yeah, but by the end of the
no,
day,
I was just going to buy it at the time.
It's not just a seasonal thing. If you're transient, like everybody's sitting out there with their cocktail watching the newbies come in for the night to watch them back up that trailer. So
I think it's because you have
It's
a
not just
45-foot trailer. They're so impressed when you actually back it into the space.
we're the ones sitting there with the drink.
That's always the fun part of it, transient camping, is you watch people back in the trailer sometimes.
Actually,
Sorry.
Scott and I were at Binghamton's last year, and there was this really awkward space that people were trying to back into, and it had a dip. And the gentleman did it, and everybody clapped.
Yeah.
It was amazing that he got it in there. And he didn't. I mean, he was this far from the ground, but he did it.
I also find, especially train, you don't see that so much in seasonal because people park all the time, but the friendliness of RVing, no? Right? So if you're having a hard time, yeah, they're gonna be sitting out there watching you on their lawn chairs with their beer, but someone will also come out and start giving you assistance and help. We want to help you. Most people I find in the RV world are really helpful. Because I think we also had a guy who was a truck driver, and he pulled into someone and said, "Hey, let me help you out." And he whipped that thing in and out really
Right?
quick.
Yeah. So back to your question.
Yeah, thank you.
There are different types of campgrounds. We're talking about ones with amenities. For years, I was at a campground that had so many amenities, I don't even think I could have used them all. But it was also a different kind of vibe there, absolutely. A different kind of vibe. It was more of a party place, more excitement, and less relaxing. And then I thought, well, I need a change. So we went to one that had less amenities. They had a great spot for kids, but it was more peaceful. And now we're at a place that has almost no amenities, but we absolutely love it because it's peaceful and the people are friendly. So you really have to be around people and the vibe that you get from people. If it's more of a party vibe, if it's more of a relaxing vibe, you really got to take note of how you feel when you're going to search other places you're going to stay at for good.
Excellent, thank you. Now, one of the things I also found coming up on ORVO was the maintenance required for a seasonal. A lot of transients have gone transient because they look at it, oh, there's so much work being taken care of that's seasonal. Yeah, Carlos.
Well, one thing I was told, one thing I was told repeatedly when I had my destination travel trailers, that I had to get it sealed every other year, if not every year. And that gets pricey really quick. You're looking at back then it was a $1,500 sealing job every year or every second year. And so that's one thing. It's a must because trailers, obviously they don't last forever, and they develop cracks, and there's tree branches hitting the roof and that sort of thing. So that's definitely something that is highly recommended. It's also recommended for transient, trailers as well. But also a factor for seasonals. People don't think about it because it's just sitting there. Right. But it still needs to be done.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Carlos. That's a really good point. If you have a trailer, new to trailing, or you haven't ever thought of it before, the sealants on all the windows and everything really should be looked at and replaced every 2 years so that you don't have leaks. And then what about, do you find that you have, I'm going to go to, I'm sorry, Nick, I'll come back to you. Ellen, do you find that there is a lot of ground maintenance to be done around our seasonal site that really takes away from the enjoyment?
Well, thankfully I have you, because you cut the lawn. However, when you're not at the campground, sometimes, thankfully, I have that little push mower, and
our neighbor who comes and cuts it for us once in a while, too.
Once in a while, yes. But no, there is a fair amount of ground maintenance. Luckily, we're on a spot that the crust doesn't really grow that much, and thankfully, we're where the leaves get blown off. Mm-hmm. However, 2 doors down, those poor people are covered with leaves every fall. They have to rake, and we just watch them because there's just nothing. It blows away on ours. But I mean, further to Carlos's comment on the leaks, we actually went through a major leak, so it is really important that you do get your seals checked, because our poor dealer, within the year of us having it, it wasn't our fault. It did come from and I won't say who it is, but it did come from the dealership that way. So they were incredible. They stepped up, but we had to have our whole slide out gutted and replaced. So it is very critical that you check those seals.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I think when it comes to the lawn maintenance, etc., of your seasonal site, it also depends a lot on what you want. We have one guy in our campsite, WeBrand, and he's out there every weekend. He's got a beautiful garden. His grass is immaculate, but that's what he likes to do. That's his relaxing point. So he enjoys doing that. I want to sit there. I don't drink beer, so I want to sit there with my Coke and my buddies. I want to go for a swim. I want to enjoy it. So we cut the grass, maybe some weeds, and we don't find there's a whole lot of maintenance doing. So now, Nikki, you've done some transient, and you're seasonal. Do you see a cost difference in the maintenance of your vehicles or site between the two?
No. I think the only difference is potentially going to be insurance.
This is our insurance lady, so go ahead, answer that question.
I'm retired. My license isn't valid, so I really can't.
No, Wayfarer can, but you can.
Wayfarer can.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, I think based on what we would spend if we traveled more. We take July and August off. We bought the trailer. I made it very clear to my husband, I'll be a spring and fall camper. I've got the pool at home. I don't need to be traveling. No offense to the young kids. Mine are grown. You know, I love hearing the kids' laughter, but I want to relax. So I'm gonna do the summer at my house. Insurance, I think, is gonna be the big thing because your auto picks up when you're transient. House insurance is when you're seasonal.
Okay.
But because we're gonna do both, I gotta pay both.
Same.
So that I think is gonna be the biggest thing.
Okay.
We're gonna contact, because there is a guy in our campground who will do the grass and everything and the
Right.
maintenance. I mean, I'll do my little planters and stuff like that, sure. But I'm having somebody else do it. I own a landscape company. We're not doing it on the weekends too.
So I think that actually piggybacks to the one of the other questions is how I don't know what it was, but just a second. When you're choosing a campsite, some campsites will offer other services like grass cutting and others don't. They don't have those services. So if that's important for you, you want to check that out as well. One other thing, if you're looking at going seasonal and you haven't done that before, a lot of campgrounds have rules as the age of your RV. And I'm going to put that to you first, Nikki, is do you know what the ages you are, and what's one of the reasons why they have that age on there?
Typically, it's a 10-year rule. There are some campgrounds that will go up to 15. There's various reasons. A big reason is because of the insurance companies cracking down on it, lack of maintenance on some of them that get older, breaking down, that sort of thing. Campgrounds choose to potentially reduce that rule, again, if there's an older trailer, dilapidated, not maintained, they really have no financial interest in it anymore. So it's easier for them to just up and go and abandon the trailer. Campground is now left with removing it.
And that's a costly event for the campground to remove it. Carl, do you have something to say about that one?
I think you have to keep in mind that if you're at a private campground, you really, as a general rule, you're really at the you really have to abide by the owner's rules.
It is their land, their property.
It's their land. You're paying for it, but you're occupying the site. You don't have really any rights, really.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
So
Yep.
in terms of I mean, you do, but it's sort of like renting. But in terms of rules, like they can say, you have to replace your trailer max 10 to 15 years, or some of them, like the campground that I'm in, as long as you maintain it and you pay your fees, then we're good.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So it depends on the campground.
Yep. Ellen, I think you want to say something about that as well.
Actually, a couple of campgrounds, like you need to be under 10 to get in, but you can stay.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
our campground had one that was 1970 something. Finally, it left this year. But had they tried to resell it in the park, they would not have let it. But the park owner was saying, because it is very hard, if they were just to abandon it, what do you do with it?
Yeah.
It's up to them, and they would try to charge it back, but they couldn't necessarily get the money out of you. But I have seen parks literally take their tractor and put an older park model or an older travel trailer on the side of the road and say, free.
Yeah.
Come and get me.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what they're reduced
Yeah.
to.
Did someone have it? Oh, yeah. I got a question out here.